Okay, so we are now recording. At the top of your paper, go ahead and put notes. And today is August 22nd. And we're going to today do a quick little review on order of operations. Can somebody tell me in your own words, what does order of operations mean? What does it mean?
The way something's in order.
Absolutely. It is a specific order, just like it said, of operations. It's the order in which we solve problems. Remember a couple weeks ago I told you math is all about patterns, and if you can figure out the pattern, then it makes a lot more sense. Okay, this is another one of those patterns. First period gave you guys up. I know you did this last year. Okay. You probably remember it referred to as PEMDAS.
Yes.
Okay. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. All right, we're going to go ahead and our notes are going to be short. We're not going to do a whole lot of writing, but we're going to do some abbreviating. So we have PEMDAS. Move it up so you can see. Okay? This is an acronym. Each one of those letters stands for something else. Anybody by chance remember what the P stands for, Jaziel? Parentheses. Very good. I have to always say parenthesis so I can spell it right. Okay, so parentheses. That also will include brackets and braces. I have a hard time drawing these. Okay, so parentheses, brackets, and braces. Yes.
My sister said just does, and she said
Grouping. Absolutely. Either way, that will work. Instead, if you want to say grouping instead of parentheses, that's fine too. Right now, we focus more on just parentheses. You won't see a lot of brackets or braces. Most of ours will still be parentheses. Okay, what about the E? What does it stand for? Not estimate. Something else. What? Exponents. Let's talk a little bit for a second about what exponents means. Okay? A lot of people like to say, oh, it's the tiny little number above the other number. So 3 to the third power. We have a base number, which is 3, and we have an exponent, which is 3. What does that 3 to the third power stand for? It's like shorthand for what?
3 times 3.
Not 3 times 3.
3 times 3 times?
Yes, absolutely. So what you're doing, this exponent basically means it's the number of times you're going to see that number. So 3 to the third power would equal 3 times 3 times 3. So instead of us thinking it just means 3 times 3, which is 9, 3 to the third power would mean 3 times 3 times 3, which would be
27.
27, absolutely. Okay? I'm going to switch gears for just a second. Let me see if this will work, if I can actually do over here. Can we see the board? Oh, it's not going to show up right. Okay, we'll try that again another day. All right, so I'm going to talk about this, and I know it's not shown on the video. When we have exponents, okay, so up here we have written 3 to the 0 power all the way to 3 to the 6th power. All right? So what happens when I have 3 to the first power? What is it? 3. It's just 3 one time. But if I have 3 to the second power, that means 3 times 3, which is 9. Okay, look at my pattern here. What's happening? 3 times 3 equals 9. What's 9 times 3?
27.
What's 27 times 3?
81.
What's 81 times 3?
243.
And so forth. Okay, so it's getting the word exponentially larger. It's getting larger because every time we increase that power, we're multiplying by whatever our base is. So there's this math rule that any number, I don't care how big it is, any number to the 0 power is 1. Which that seems kind of crazy. You would think it to be 0, right? It's not. It's always 1. And here is why. To get larger, we're multiplying by 3. Well, what's the opposite of that?
Dividing.
Okay, so to get smaller, we're dividing by 3. So what would 81 divided by 3 be?
27.
What's 27 divided by 3?
9.
9 divided by 3?
3.
Oh, what's 3 divided by 3?
1.
Okay, here's the crazy thing. Once you get to this, if I have 5 to the first power, what is it? 5. So then if I say 5 divided by 5, what do I get?
1.
5 to the 0 power is
1.
any number to the 0 power will always be 1. Okay, it's a crazy rule and it doesn't sound right, but it happens because of that division pattern. Okay, so that's a short little review on exponents. All right, what does the M stand for?
Multiply.
Absolutely. What about D? Divide. Okay, now here's the thing about these. They are partners. Okay, these two are partnered together, which means we're going to solve them whatever we get to first, left to right. So often there are pictures of math problems posted on social media that grown adults don't know the right answer to. And here is why. They are assuming that we always multiply before we divide, or we always add before we subtract. Okay? So we just said the A stands for add, S stands for okay. So these two are also partners. So we solve whatever we get to left to right. Just like reading. We read a book left to right, we're going to do math left to right. But again, so many people are assuming that we always multiply before we divide. There might be times where we divide before we multiply. There might be times where we subtract before we add. It's whatever we get to as those partners left to right. Okay? Let's try an example together. Ms. Hayes, will you read that example to me? I don't remember what I wrote down last period.
Two to the second power.
Okay.
Minus, parentheses, 3 minus 2, parentheses, plus 5 times 2.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to do this example together. Let me zoom in just a little bit so you can see. So we have 2 to the second power minus, in parentheses, 3 minus 2 plus 5 times 2. All right. The great thing, if you're a visual person, these math problems look pretty when you're done with them. Because you're going to solve every step on a single line. Guys, from now on, until you finish math, you must show every step. Okay? We don't want to take shortcuts, because if we get something wrong, we want to be able to go back and figure out where we went wrong. When you finish writing these problems, it should look like an upside down pyramid. Or an ice cream cone. Okay? Or pizza. Absolutely. Alright, so looking at our order of operations, what are we going to solve first? Just tell me.
2 to the minus.
Not 3 times 2, 3 minus. That is a minus 2. Okay, we're solving that first because it's in our parentheses. So I'm going to bring everything else down. So I've got 2 to the second power minus, what is 3 minus 2? 1 plus 5 times 2. Okay? I've taken care of parentheses. What comes next?
Exponent.
Exponents. What is 2 to the second power? 4. Awesome. Minus 1 plus 5 times 2. Okay? Now, who are my first partners?
Multiplication.
And division, right?
Right.
Do I have any division? No. Then I just have to focus on what I have. So just multiplication. So what is 5 times 2?
10.
Okay? Now, here's the tricky part. Look at this expression now. It's 4 minus 1 plus 10. Thinking of
Left to right.
bingo. Because now all we have left is addition and subtraction. Now I'm going to solve it left to right. Okay? A lot of people want to jump and add first. But you want to solve whatever you get to first, left to right. So what do we get to first?
4 subtract 1 9 was 3.
Absolutely. We get to subtraction first. So 4 minus 1 is 3 plus 10. So our answer is
13.
fantastic. See how that looks nice? And what's happening, the reason it looks like this is because we start off with this large problem and we're basically simplifying it each time we go. Okay? So those of y'all that like your work to look nice and neat, these are great problems. So they'll always turn out pretty like this. Okay? If you have 2 sets of parentheses, is it okay to do both parentheses on one line?
Yes.
Absolutely. You can take care of that one step all at once. Okay? Any questions about these? Okay, I'm going to stop our video real quick and we're going to do some practice.